Maurice McLeod joins us, social commentator and a writer on race. Maurice, very good evening to you. What do you make of this? Because, I mean, on the one hand, you can kind of see why she's upset, but on the other hand, some people are saying she's overplaying her hand.
I certainly don't think she's overblowing her hand. I'm personally really glad that she's that she's done this, that she's using her platform to highlight this as the sort of thing that happens to especially young black men constantly. I mean, it's really hard to explain to people quite how intense this is. I got stopped 32 times in 3 months, and I documented it. It got into the newspapers. And yeah, there were various reasons. You could say, oh, with your car you were driving slightly strange and all this sort of thing. As with Dawn's case, the question is, why did they look at me and go, oh, let me run that? It's the suspicion that I think is the problem. So yeah, I'm really glad that she's done it. I don't think she's overplaying her hand. I'm glad that she's sort of making a stand for all those people that haven't got a platform.
What needs to change?
This is a hard one. I mean, I was working on the Voice newspaper over 20 years ago, and we were still writing about this sort of stuff. What needs to change in the police force? I've kind of, there are so many amazing police officers. I'm a local councillor in Wandsworth, and I work with some incredible, community-minded, great police officers, and I just think they're undermined by some of the ways they're encouraged to police. You say that you were talking about stop and search. As was just said, 80% of them draw up nothing. And even that 20%, most of them, what they'll find is a small amount of drugs on somebody. Now, you might say, well, yes, that's a crime. You'd find the same if you went to Clapham High Street and stopped a load of white kids going to a cocktail bar. There's such a disparity, and it causes such a rift between the community and the police that we really, we need to. I think it needs a root and branch look at the whole way that policing works. There's some great things, but there's some things that really let the system down.
And as you say, you've been talking about these things for many years. I've been talking about it for the last 10 years since I've been on LBC. And you have lots of discussions with people. Everybody makes quite reasonable points. You talk to politicians, you talk to people in the police. But nothing seems to change. The proportions of people who are stopped have improved marginally, but only marginally. Is it something? Is there something just wrong with the guidelines that individual police officers are given on the ground? Does something need to come right from the top?
Well, yeah, that's what is meant when we say institutionally racist, and I think it's probably a difficult term because people go, oh my God, I know police officers and they're not racist. It's not about the individuals, it's about the institution, it's about the way policing is instructed to work. I mean, we could talk for ages about drug laws and their impact on race relations. There's so many things in the way that policing works in this country that instead of it being policing by consent, which is what we all want, we want the Bobby who knows everyone on the estate and can, go and call so-and-so's mum. That's the sort of policing that we want, but we're getting further and further away from that as all these demands come in. Oh, we need to be tougher. What we need is more stop and search, or we need tougher sentences. We're going in the American direction, and that's definitely not where we want to go.
But the other direction that we don't want to go in is where a police officer almost subliminally maybe thinks to him or herself, I can't stop that person because they're black and they'll say that I'm racist.
Well, no. Then maybe what would help is if the reasons for stopping were clear and were adhered to. So if you have a genuine reason to suspect somebody of committing a crime or be in the process of committing a crime, then fine, you stop someone and you explain that. But to be honest, most of these end up being kind of fishing trips, fishing expeditions where just stop someone, give them a rattle, see if you can find, I don't know, some drugs or something, or it's not. It's all the wrong way round, I'm afraid. I have hope, because like I say, that there are some amazing officers out there, so I do have hope that these things can be addressed, but we need to be honest, and we need to, the fact that I'm afraid that, Cressida Dick thinks there is no institutional racism means that how can she possibly cure it, if you don't believe it's there.
Maurice, thank you very much. That's Maurice McLeod, social commentator. Graham